April 30, 2024, News Report 1. On April 30, 2024, Radio France Internationale reported that European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen stated during an EU Commission presidential debate on April 29 that the EU does not rule out banning TikTok. This is the first time the EU has made such a statement. Von der Leyen said that the EU Commission is the first institution in the world to ban TikTok from being installed on work phones. The EU is very aware of the dangers of TikTok. Currently, TikTok is facing 2 investigations by the EU. The first investigation, announced by the EU Commission last week, focuses on TikTok and TikTok Lite's prize viewing services. The second investigation, announced in February, focuses on TikTok's failure to prevent minors from accessing content related to suicide, sex, and violence. According to EU cybersecurity laws, the EU Commission can order the suspension or termination of TikTok services in any circumstances. News Report 2. The Philippine Coast Guard issued a statement on April 30, stating that on the same day, a Chinese Coast Guard ship fired water cannons at Philippine Coast Guard ships in the waters near Huangyan Island. The Philippine side accused China of setting up a floating barrier at the entrance to Huangyan Island, preventing Philippine Coast Guard ships from approaching. It is reported that at the time, 2 Philippine Coast Guard ships were patrolling the waters near Huangyan Island and were intercepted by 4 Chinese Coast Guard ships and 6 Chinese maritime militia ships. A video released by the Philippine Coast Guard on Twitter shows 1 Philippine Coast Guard ship surrounded by 2 Chinese Coast Guard ships, resulting in severe damage to the ship. In addition, China has set up a 380-meter-long floating barrier at the entrance to Huangyan Island, covering the entire entrance and prohibiting other vessels from entering. Huangyan Island is located near the main shipping channel and is an important fishing ground. The island is located within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone but has been under Chinese control for over 10 years. News Report 3. Voice of America reported that former Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te led a national security team to the National Security Bureau on April 29 to receive a national security briefing. Lai Ching-te's national security team includes the current Minister of National Defense Gu Lixiong, the current Secretary-General of the National Security Council Wu Zhaoxie, the Deputy Secretary-General of the National Security Council Su Si, and the current Vice President Xiao Mei-chin. The heads of the National Security Bureau, the Coast Guard Administration, the National Police Agency, the Investigation Bureau, and the Immigration Department briefed Lai Ching-te. The National Security Bureau stated that the briefing was mainly to let Lai Ching-te fully understand the current security situation in the Taiwan Strait and the progress of the National Security Unit's work. Lai Ching-te will take office on May 20, and as the time approaches, China has begun to exert pressure on Taiwan. The Chinese Coast Guard announced on WeChat on April 29 that the Fujian Coast Guard conducted regular law enforcement patrols in the waters of Jinmen. A video released by the Chinese Coast Guard shows Chinese Coast Guard ships speaking to Taiwanese Coast Guard ships in Mandarin and Minnan dialect, demanding that they navigate properly, or the consequences will be borne by the Taiwanese ships. On the other hand, the China Maritime Safety Administration issued a sailing warning on April 30, stating that it will impose traffic control on the deepwater channel of the Yangtze River estuary at 3 a.m. on May 1 and set up a no-sail zone in the East China Sea, presumably to prepare for sea trials of the Fujian aircraft carrier. Recent leaked videos show that at 3 p.m. on April 29, firecrackers were set off at the Jiangnan shipyard in Shanghai, indicating that the Fujian aircraft carrier will enter service as early as 2025. News Report 4. China's revised state secrets law took effect on May 1. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council issued a warning on April 30, reminding the Taiwanese people to carefully consider the risks of traveling to China. The Council pointed out that the revised state secrets law has vague and highly uncertain content, and can infinitely expand the definition of state secrets and the subjects of secrecy. Engaging in activities such as interviews, academic research, or collecting commercial information in mainland China, or even conversations with local residents, may be defined as involving state secrets. The revised state secrets law adds the crime of disclosing work secrets, and anything that is not a state secret but may cause adverse effects after disclosure may be suspected of a crime. Therefore, the Council emphasized that unless necessary, Taiwanese people should not travel to China. If it is indeed necessary to go to China, then before going, one should carefully assess the personal safety risks and preferably register with the local authorities in Taiwan, so that assistance can be provided when necessary. News Report 5. U.S. Congressman Mulliner officially assumed the position of chairman of the Committee on Communist China Issues on April 29. On his first day in office, he posted a 3-minute video on Twitter stating that he will continue to take a tough stance on China. House Speaker Johnson announced the appointment of Mulliner to replace resigned Chairman Gallego on March 25. In the video, Mulliner stated that he will uphold the principle of bipartisan cooperation and expose the threat posed by the CCP, and resist the CCP in 4 key areas. This includes preventing the CCP from militarily aggressing against Taiwan and other Indo-Pacific allies, preventing the CCP from stealing American technology, reducing dependence on China in critical areas of the supply chain, and promoting cooperation between allies. Mulliner, 62, represents Michigan in the House of Representatives and has been a member of the House since 2015. He is the vice chairman of the Committee on Communist China Issues. He has met with President Tsai Ing-wen twice and is a chemist who worked at Dow Chemical before entering politics and later became a member of the Michigan State Assembly. News Report 6. According to rumors on Chinese social media, the Central Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China reportedly decided to make major changes to its real estate policy at a meeting on April 30, and said it will be implemented after the May Day holiday. The policy is said to involve significant adjustments, including destocking, allowing urban investment companies to purchase developer inventory and convert it into welfare housing. Additionally, demand policies will be relaxed, including lifting purchase restrictions, and the deed tax for real estate transactions will be unified from 3% to 1%. Furthermore, the policy will shift focus from the 3 red lines to destocking. Reports indicate that real estate stocks surged on April 29 but began to decline on April 30. In addition, it was announced that Tianjin will treat non-locals buying homes the same as locals and cancel the purchase restrictions on buying new homes of 20 square meters or more in 6 districts of the city. Currently, there are still 7 major cities nationwide retaining purchase restrictions, including Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Hangzhou, Tianjin, and Xi'an. News Report 7. According to Xinhua News Agency, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian announced on April 30 that Hamas and Fatah are 2 Palestinian authorities respectively governing Gaza and the West Bank of the Jordan River. Their representatives held a meeting in Beijing. Lin Jian expressed hope for reconciliation within Palestine. Hamas is Sunni and attacked Israel last year, leading to the Hamas-Israel war. Fatah is an Islamic resistance organization led by Palestinian Liberation Organization Chairman Abbas. There are serious differences between Hamas and Fatah, with Hamas having defeated Fatah in past conflicts and controlling Gaza. Currently, Fatah only controls the West Bank of the Jordan River. The report mentioned that China's influence in the region is limited and, apart from providing assistance, has not been able to have a substantial impact on Palestinian internal affairs. News Report 8. Chinese universities have issued regulations prohibiting students from organizing group tours during the May Day holiday. This regulation has sparked some discussion, with some people believing it is because the government is concerned about accidents and unwilling to take responsibility. The report mentioned specific regulations from some universities, such as Lanzhou Jiaotong University, Jiangsu Normal University's Foreign Language Institute, and Chengdu University of Technology's Integrated Circuit College, all of which have issued similar notices prohibiting students from organizing tourism activities. These regulations may inconvenience students, with some even likening it to being imprisoned. News Report 9. According to fact-checking, the claim about Chinese officials not being present to see off Secretary Blinken when he left China is inaccurate. In fact, Yang Tao, director of the Department of American Affairs at the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, was present at the airport to greet Secretary Blinken and also saw him off. Fact-checking programs by Voice of America and Radio Free Asia have released photos of Yang Tao seeing off Secretary Blinken at the airport, and the Associated Press also released a video showing Yang Tao's presence. Although some inaccurate information was posted on Weibo, the fact is that Yang Tao was present to see off Secretary Blinken. News Report 10. Data released by the National Bureau of Statistics shows that the Purchasing Managers' Index, PMI, for China's manufacturing sector in April was 50.4, slightly higher than the expected 50.3 but lower than the previous value of 50.8. For the second consecutive month, the production index was above the boom-bust line, at 52.9, and the order index was 51.1. The production index for new exports was 52.9, the order index was 51.1, and the index for new export orders was 50.6. Although this set of data may not be appealing to some people, it may be because the Chinese economy experienced a sharp decline in the first quarter, which is unlikely to rebound in April. Therefore, some people believe that these data are not very reliable. News Report 11. According to China's Central Television, CCTV, Guangdong Province was affected by heavy rain and severe convective weather on April 30, causing flight disruptions at Guangzhou and Shenzhen airports. According to the China Meteorological Administration, there was heavy rain in Guangdong Province on that day, with precipitation ranging from 100 to 120 millimeters. Some areas also experienced severe convective weather such as thunderstorms, strong winds, or hail. Baiyun Airport was originally scheduled to have 878 flights, but as of the afternoon, 65 flights were delayed for more than an hour, and the airport issued a yellow emergency response. In addition, Shenzhen Airport stated that outbound flights on April 30 were restricted, with some flights experiencing long delays. Photos taken by netizens at the airport showed that the flight information screens were filled with delay information, with many flights delayed until the early morning of May 1. Furthermore, the Guangdong Railway Group stated that due to the heavy rain in Guangdong, buses and some trains on the Beijing-Guangzhou, Beijing-Kowloon, and Beijing-Guangzhou high-speed railways were suspended from April 29 to May 1, with some trains experiencing delays. News Report 12. According to the announcement by the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, CCDI, on April 30, former Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Justice Liu Zhiqiang is under investigation for suspected violations of laws and regulations. Liu Zhiqiang, 61, has long worked in the public security system and later served as Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Justice. He was appointed Deputy Minister in January 2016 and was removed from office in June last year. With the news of Liu Zhiqiang's investigation, 7 centrally managed cadres have been investigated this year.